Hoping everyone had a great holiday season and has a very happy new year. Welcome back to episode 2 of my series on how to crush the Caro-Kann using the Accelerated Panov attack, an extremely aggressive attacking system. In this video, we'll be covering the slightly more common line where after we capture in the center, they recapture. 67% of players recapture with their queen across the board, and I decided to be a big nerd and quickly graph out the rating distribution in the Accelerated Panov. This is what you should expect to run into based on your Lichess rapid rating. At the beginner level, maybe 90% of games will be in the line covered in this video, where they take the d5 pawn with their queen. Meanwhile, 10-20% will be with the knight f6 line, where they let you keep the pawn. And then at the master level, these about flip-flop. It seems around the 1900 rating, you'll start to see the knight f6 line more, but you won't start to run into it too often until about 1800. So our first moves are always going to be first, developing our knight with tempo, forcing their queen to retreat. And the main lines here are the exact same as the main lines in the Scandinavian defense. Queen d8, queen a5, queen d6. And then of course, some beginners will just deliver a check and let us develop again with tempo, or otherwise block in their e-pawn. First, I'll be covering by far the most common variation, retreating the queen back to d8, back to its starting square. This is the favorite of the engine and is definitely a solid option. After they retreat their queen in the Accelerated Panov, we're always going to start with d4, staking our claim in the center of the board. And the first thing I'd like to point out about this position is that it greatly resembles another opening I've covered on this channel before. If you're following the 2026 repertoire, maybe you've watched my Smith-Morra Gambit series. This is the starting position of the Smith-Morra Gambit, and this is the starting position of the Accelerated Panov. The differences being we have a pawn on d4 instead of e4. Our opponent doesn't have a d-pawn, and we have not sacrificed anything yet. The similarities, of course, being that we've developed our knight to c3 with tempo, we have a pawn in the center of the board, and the c-file is completely open. And this position is going to play extremely similarly to the Smith-Morra Gambit. And if you're not familiar with the Smith-Morra, that's completely fine. The plan is very simple. This is what we're going to do. We're going to develop our knight to f3, our bishop to c4, castle short, queen e2, rook d1. This bishop will usually want to develop to f4 or g5 depending on the situation, and then this rook will usually want to be on this nice open c-file. So let's go through some example variations, starting with some of the most common moves from our opponent. Our opponent plays knight f6, we stick to our plan with knight f3, and right off the bat, the most common move is a blunder, bishop g4. And this is going to follow the exact same tactical theme. Once again, if you're following the 2026 repertoire from the Scandinavian series, whenever they pin our knight, we're going to play h3. And if they capture, first of all, we're going to recapture with our queen. And we have once again developed a piece with tempo. We have a massive lead in development and a huge crushing attack. And while 41% of players will capture and give us that, the other 54% of players will also blunder and retreat to h5. In fact, the only way to save this position is to retreat your bishop back, which literally no one does. This is what makes this such a powerful option against Caro-Kann players. They just want to trade to an endgame, and this really predates on their nature. When they retreat to h5, we'll play g4. I covered this in the video on the Queen d8 Scandinavian in the 2026 repertoire, but the idea is when they go to g6, we can play knight e5 and get ready to start delivering some checks. For example, if they play e6, we can play queen e4 check, and if they play knight bd7, we remove the defender with g5, and we are completely winning the game. This will be a very common tactical pattern we'll be seeing, forcing the opponent's queen to d7 and then pinning it with our bishop. Sometimes they'll even just do it, just not thinking about it, and just give us their queen. But just remember, whenever they pin your knight, kick it with h3. If they capture, we're way better, and if they retreat to h5, our position is still significantly better because we can move our knight to e5 and then take advantage of this diagonal. This trap will come up a lot, and not only in this position. So let's assume they don't blunder, instead play something like e6, a very reasonable move. We're going to stick to our Smith-Morra Gambit style plan with bishop c4, bishop e7. We stick to our plan by castling. If they castle, we'll play queen e2, knight c6, rook d1, a6, and here tactical opportunities are already springing up with the pawn break d5. This will be the main theme to look for in these types of middle games. Just like in the Smith-Morra, looking for a pawn break in the center. I find these positions very easy, very fun, and very aggressive, but getting here in the first place assumes that your opponent doesn't try to pin your knight at some point or blunder some other way. Back to our starting position, we've covered the queen d8 line, but what do we do if they play queen a5 in the style of a mainline Scandinavian defense? Well, as always, we'll start with d4. We'll assume our opponent develops their knight to f6. Our plan here is going to be very much the same as the last line, in terms of development. However, we will want to develop this bishop to d2 with tempo. Let's see how this plays out, starting by developing our knight, of course. And as you can see, they can once again blunder bishop g4. The tactical pattern is the exact same and the exact same as the Scandi h3. They retreat, they lose, they take, they lose. If they take, this is the resulting position. Not as disastrous as the last line, with the exact same tactical themes. And if they retreat, we once again will play g4 and knight e5, and it is once again the exact same tactical themes. Hopefully you're starting to see why I like this opening system so much. And the Accelerated Panov attack, alongside being my personal favorite response to the Caro-Kann and what I personally play, I also think it's just a great recommendation for beginners to chess. Because first of all, it pairs extremely well with the Smith-Morra gambit, which is also very good for beginners. And second of all, most of the tactical sequences are pretty predictable, even going into the middle game. And it's not exactly hard to imagine a beginner scoring some really impressive wins with a line like this over the board. So that's if they blunder. What if they don't? What if they play the best move, e6? We'll stick to our Smith-Morra gambit plan with bishop c4, and if they pin our knight, of course our next move will be bishop d2, but otherwise we will castle. For example, bishop e7, we'll castle, they castle, queen e2. Hopefully you're starting to get it by now. Our plans are going to remain the exact same. This is fun, simple attacking chess at its finest. Let's move on to the next variation. Let's say our opponent retreats their queen to the d6 square. Our plan is going to remain the exact same as the d6 line in the Scandinavian. That is, we're going to start once again with d4. Next, we're going to develop this bishop, and then knight e2, bishop f4 with tempo. And that is how we're going to secure our opening advantage whenever they retreat their queen to d6. For example, knight f6, the most reasonable move. Bishop c4, I'm sure bishop d3 is also perfectly reasonable here. e6, knight ge2, they develop their bishop, and we get to develop our bishop to f4 with tempo. And I find this line to be absolutely fantastic. I mean, look at our pieces and look at their pieces. So to quickly summarize this video, in the Accelerated Panov, if they capture with their queen, which is significantly more common at the beginner level, but still very common into the 2000s. I would say maybe like 40% of my games are in this line. We're always going to start by developing our knight with tempo. Our default plan is going to be playing for the Smith-Morra gambit plan. After they retreat their queen, we start with d4 and then develop as in the Smith-Morra, with the exception of the queen d6 line, which is somewhat reputable, where we'll instead start by developing our bishop, and afterwards our development plan will be knight ge2, and then bishop f4 with tempo. Our tactical patterns are almost always going to be on this weak diagonal to the enemy king. Whenever they pin our knight on f3, the tactical pattern we will always want to play for is h3, putting them into a catch-22. In the next video, we'll be covering the line in the Accelerated Panov, where instead of recapturing with their queen, they play knight f6. Happy New Year, everyone.